All right, everyone, we have Coach Elliott. Go ahead with questions for Coach Elliott.
Hey, Coach. Lawton Swine, Clemson Sports Talk. Just taking a look at the overall effort tonight from the offense, what were some of your big takeaways?
Just proud of getting to this point. I thought the guys worked really, really hard this offseason. You saw it early on, outside of that first drive, just a couple of early mishaps, but I thought the first unit did a good job of taking control of the game quickly. We were able to throw the ball, run the ball effectively early on. Didn't quite finish the runs from the running back perspective. I thought that we got tackled too easily, a little bit in the open field. But I thought for the most part, Trevor was sharp. Offensive line, other than the one time that first sack, not gonna put that on the offensive line. Quarterback's got to get rid of that ball. They did give up there in that two situation. But overall, I'm pleased with the effort. Obviously, I'm gonna look at the film, evaluate the details. But I thought it was a good positive start for our older guys and a good learning opportunity for our young guys. They got to be ready when their numbers call.
Tony, this is Gene in Charleston. Can you talk about Travis Etienne's ability to get yards after contact? I know that's been a thing of his for a couple of years, but how has that kind of improved and evolved over the years?
All right, you broke up a little bit. Looks like a technology issue. Can you repeat the first part of that question?
Etienne with his yards after contact. Can you just discuss how that's improved over the years?
For the most part, he's been doing that since he has a knack. That's just part of his running style. He runs, he's 205 pounds with his explosion and just his unwillingness to go down. He's got great contact balance. That allows him to break some plays. There were a couple opportunities in this game that I thought that first counter, if he gets his feet up a little bit better, he breaks that one. And there was one in the open field. I think it was a third down. He and I talked. He was thinking more along the lines, hey, let's just move the chains, take the base hit. But I thought he could have had an opportunity there to make the safety miss. But a lot of that is natural. I think that as he's gotten a little bit stronger, it just comes a little bit easier. But he's always been he showed up. He's had that ability. And I think it just comes from the style of being so fast, so explosive. Great vision, and he has probably the best contact balance of any guy that I've coached.
Tony, this is Matt Connolly with the State. Do you have an update on Lin-J and why he didn't play at all tonight?
Yeah, Lin-J was good to go, but told him coming off of that knee that it would be a situation. We had the young backs ready to go. That's been ready to go, very deserving of an opportunity, and just didn't want to risk it. He was ready to go, and as the game, we were able to get control of the game early. I felt like it was best just to take a little bit off that knee, but he was clear to go. He was ready to go. Looked good in warm-ups. He really looked good all week, but just wanted to play it safe with him.
What did you think of those young running backs that got some opportunities tonight?
It was good to see both of them. I thought Kobe was going to punch one in down there as close as he got, but you're able to see that that he's got a ton of ability. A guy that probably may have got it, overshadowed a little bit in the recruiting process, but very, very pleased with him. Good to see him get in there in live action. Thought he handled it a little bit better just from being able to get lined up on his own. But DeMarcus is a guy that once you turn the lights on and you put the ball in his hands, he was close to breaking some long ones. So it was good for those guys to get some meaningful experience because again, in this climate, this day and age, they're going to be guys we're going to have to count on at any given moment, down the stretch. So it was good to see those guys. Sure, there's a lot of things that I'll be able to coach up, but having some success and getting an opportunity to taste the field is going to be good and give me the opportunity to keep pushing those guys.
Tony, this is Grace Rayner from The Athletic. We talked a lot this offseason about tight ends and you guys getting them more involved. What did you make of the way that you guys really got them involved in the passing game tonight?
I thought they were very productive. Again, and I've said it all along, and I think anybody who's followed this offense knows that we're at our best when we have, the ability to make plays at the tight end position. And I think all of us knew what Braden Galloway is capable of, and he showed up big tonight. But to see Big Davis Allen, catch that ball and stretch the field, and J.C. Chalk, I thought he probably made one of the best catches of the night with that touchdown catch there. So for those guys to have the impact, that we had, obviously at wide receiver we dropped a couple passes, so it was big for those guys to kind of carry it and tell those guys to get settled in. So when we have guys at the tight end position that can be effective in the blocking game, but then go be a matchup advantage in the passing game. Really, really, makes our offense very dynamic.
Hey, Tony, Lawton again. Just looking at Tyson and DJ, what was it that separated DJ that gave him that second string role tonight?
That's a decision that Coach Streeter made. And again, as I told you guys before, that was going to be a Coach Streeter, Coach Sweeney type decision. And I know when you guys did, but, I thought that DJ had a really, really good camp, has really, really kind of, come to his own in terms of handling the offense, being able to handle all the motions, all the shifts, all the different things that we do. Does a really good job at understanding what we want to get accomplished from a protection standpoint with our protection plan. Big arm talent. I think we all know that. So I think at the end of the day, Coach Street will be able to give you more detail as to why he ran out there. But from my perspective, I thought both of those guys had a really, really good camp. It was neck and neck. And again, either one of them could have ran out there. But I would imagine in the meeting room, Coach Streeter must have saw something that he felt like, hey, just gave DJ the slight advantage to go out there first.
Tony, I think you said that with DJ that he was pretty advanced as far as knowing all of the protections and that kind of stuff, and he did more of that in high school. Just how rare is that to have a guy come in as a true freshman and be able to handle all of that?
Right, I'd say that's probably rare, but in this day and age, happened with Deshaun, happened with Trevor, now with DJ. I think that the way things are working with technology and the way that the high school football is coached throughout the entire country, and those guys that come from those bigger programs, generally have a little bit of a leg up because they're seeing a lot of the similar structure that we're seeing. Maybe not quite as complex, but they're seeing a lot of variety in the different blitzes that they have to get ready for at the high school level. And those guys are working with outside trainers, before they get to us. And so just their depth of knowledge, is way ahead of where it was when I got into this business about 15 years ago. So, I think it's just a credit to one, the high school coach, the trainers that they're working with outside the game, but more importantly, the young men, just have that high football IQ.
Any more questions, Coach Elliott?
With the receivers and some of the drops, just what do you feel like needs to get cleaned up there, and how do you fix it?
I think with Amari, just probably trying to do a little bit too much. I think that one down there in the end zone was tough. He was trying to tightrope the sideline. I mean the end line, making sure that he had his feet in bounds, and I think he took his eyes off the ball there at the last second. And then Frank was I think that was Frank. Yeah, that was Frank down here in the end zone. Had to go down and get it. So again, I think it was the tough catches. Maybe not the routine. Did a good job on the routine stuff, and we just got to keep challenging those guys to develop that mindset that we make the routine play all the time, and then we make the impossible or the difficult catch most of the time. So, great opportunity to push these guys to continue to go back to work on Monday, focus on the fundamentals, and it's the little things. You always talk about the ball usually is dropped the last 12 inches of flight, and really you catch the ball in the game of football with your eyes, not necessarily with your hands.
Tony, I apologize if you already asked this, but could you talk to me about Trevor and his performance tonight and how focused he looked out there?
Right. I've been saying that all along. I think I got a question last time I talked to the media about what I thought was something exceptional that he did. And I said that just his everyday, preparation, focus, intensity, leadership, those are the things that have been exceptional to me. And outside of the one play there in the first drive where he took the sack, could have gotten rid of that ball, was probably the only play where I said, hey, you want to get back. The rest of it, was drop balls. He did miss the one. I think he missed a 1 third down throw on a corner ball I think that was Frank that was in there. But other than that, man, he's had the eye of the tiger. Made great decisions in the run game, pulling the ball down there on the goal line to give us an opportunity to score there. So definitely he's at a different level. Just got to challenge him to continue to maintain that focus for the rest of the season.
Tony, how would you judge the environment, just what y'all were dealing with no fans? And, I mean, how was that?
I talked to my guys and I talked to the offense before, and I said, you know what, fellas, this is kind of like, back in the day when we started playing football, Little League ball. There was nobody in the stands. So they had an opportunity to play the game because they love it. And I think that with that understanding and that mindset, they were able to create the energy that they needed to go out and to play. I wasn't down on the field during the game, so I don't know how the music was and how that atmosphere. But all I know is from where I was at, the vantage point, looking down on that sideline, looked like the guys had a lot of
Can everybody still hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
can
go
now.
ahead. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead with questions.
Hey, Tony, you can hear us?
I got you now.
Hey, you guys scored on 7 of the first 9 possessions, I believe, tonight. Offensive efficiency standpoint, could you have scripted it any better to kind of get off to that kind of start to start the year?
Yeah, I think the only way is we scored on that first drive. I thought we came out on that first drive, had a good first down call. We probably was a little bit more there. Travis gets his feet up, and then we had a good second down call, and somehow Mari slipped coming out of his route, and then we get into a third down situation. So that's probably the only thing I say could go a little bit better. But really proud of our guys, and for us offensively, that's our objective, man. Every time we touch the ball, our offensive theory is that every drive ends with a kick, and preferably that kick is an extra point. So really proud of our guys. Now the biggest challenge that I'm gonna take away from that, as you said, it's first 7 of the first 9. What about the drives after drive 9? I think really have an opportunity to challenge our young guys to understand that it doesn't matter if you're a backup. When you go in the game, the standard and the expectation doesn't change, and we're trying to score on every single drive that we take the field.
Tony, you guys were pushing the pace really well at times. Can you give some insight into why that was such a focal point during the offseason, you guys pushing the tempo more, and what exactly that brings to your offense when you're able to go tempo?
Right. Tempo is part of our DNA. When the system came here in 2011, when Chad came in, and I was fortunate enough to come in with him and really get an understanding of what a tempo offense is, and really just getting back to the basics, getting back to what our true DNA is. And, we want to offensive football, we want to dictate the pace of the game. We want to be in control of the game. We don't want to let the defense screw their cleats in the ground. And so for us, we've had a challenge all offseason is to really just everybody sacrifice and embrace the concept of tempo. And now we have an opportunity to show that our play count reflected that, and then our playing fast and being able to dictate the pace of the game really put some pressure on the defense. So yes, that's been a point of emphasis all offseason, and really just got to challenge the guys to continue to believe in that, to make that part of their individual DNA is how we play. And what it does is it allows us to stress the defense. And then it gives us an advantage too when we're playing fast and the defense can't get lined up and they're out of position. It just gives us the angles, or it gives us the numbers back to our advantage.
All right, we have time for one more question.
When you look last year, how much did y'all get away from it, and how did y'all get away from it, just sort of looking back?
I don't think we ever really got away from it, but at the same time too, I give Trevor the ability to slow things down at times. And then again, when you look at tempo, a lot of people just look at your snap count, and if you look at us last year, we were very, very explosive, scored a lot of points, scored quickly, and so maybe our total snap count would not be indicative of us being a tempo team. But here we want to say, hey, we're not only going to try and drive for that snap count, but at the same time, too, we want to physically play fast every single play and let our depth and let our speed really wear defenses down, so we can try to dominate. And that's something that we get a challenge from Coach Sweeney is we don't just want to get on the field and play, and we want to play well, but we also want to dominate our opponent when we can.
All right, with that, thank Coach Elliott, and we'll have Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne up shortly. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you.